Is this the Elon Musk of fitness? Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Doctor, where I ask two questions. First of all, how can we as entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs create innovative ideas that truly move the needle in tackling the problems we face with human and environmental health? I also ask the question, how can we cut through the fads and gimmicks to learn the strategies that optimize our own health, well-being and performance so we can be more productive, creative and successful in our ventures? I'm Beiruz. I'm a public health or preventive medicine physician, having trained at Harvard and in Oxford with 20 years of international experience, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Doctor. And I'm also really passionate about this. You know, many entrepreneurs around the world, they're adding so much value, yet they depend on their own health, well-being and performance to really succeed in what they do. So if you're looking for tools and strategies to help you have better focus, energy levels, drive, clarity, memory, creativity, as well as resilience like good mood, calm under stress, and productivity, come and join my free online Business Brain Blueprint. It's a 4 module or 18 video session course. I cover everything from nutrition, diet, supplements to smart drugs, as well as physical activity, brain games, the role of the mindset, as well as environmental mediators of our health and well-being. It's absolutely free and it's available instantly on my website, www.entrepreneurs.doctor. Nick, welcome to the
Let's go.
Entrepreneur's Doctor. We're laughing right now because there's so many outtakes that we could show everyone watching this afterwards. It took us about 2 hours just to get started with this recording, but it's okay. We're both dads. We've got babies behind the scenes,
That's right.
technical difficulties. Um, it's funny that you're an electronic engineer, but we'll come on to that in a second. Just for the viewers, it's interesting. I've known Nick for 22 years now. I won't, maybe for another time, I'll share the story of how I met Nick. But we'll try and keep this as serious as possible. So basically, Nick and I, we studied together in Leeds, different subjects, University of Leeds. This is the northern part of the UK. And we lived together, but most importantly, he was my, what they say in Greece, kumbare. He was my best man at my wedding. So he's my best friend.
Yeah.
We just don't live close enough to each other. So that's a shame. Anyway, enough about me and how I know you. I want to hear more about you. So this is really interesting. You know, like we studied together. I was doing my medical school training and you had nothing to do with health. You were, you know, doing your bachelor's, master's and a PhD in an electronic engineering. So what made you actually change and go into health and fitness?
Well, first of all, let me just say it's an honor to be doing this with you. I think it has been a long time dream that we've been, working together with something like that. So it's really good. Also, forgive my accent because I haven't used it for a long time, being in Greece and all that. So let's go into the juice of the things. I've been in the UK for about 30 years, studying and working as well on the field of electrical engineering. But I think the degrees that I've done and the time in England, they were a vessel for me to mature as a person and realize what my dream job would be. And going into Virgin Active at the time, I got hooked up with the exercising routines we were doing in the group exercise studios. We were doing Les Mills program, so I got hooked up with that, and then my story began as a fitness professional from there onwards. I became an instructor for the Les Mills Body Pump program. I was teaching it at a gym there, the Virgin Active, and a few more other gyms. I don't know if it's legal to say the names. You'll tell me afterwards.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Good. So I was working at David Lloyd's and one more gym that I can't recall right now. Became a manager at Virgin Active, where I was working there as a fitness professional. I got hooked up into triathlon, so I became a coach in the Leeds Grafton Triathlon group, where I taught running on the track and swimming disciplines and cycling, and all that just add up to the love that I have for exercising and actually passing on knowledge and teaching. So I realized that my goal would be to be able to teach people how to get into these exercise routines and how to make them feel better while doing the exercise. So that's how I got into fitness. Nice,
Nick. I think we share that interest and passion really for teaching. And you've got a unique way of doing it too. And I swear I remember I took you to your first body pump class. I swear I remember.
You did. You did. Yeah.
So that's hilarious. Okay, so now I can see. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
You took me to the first jiu-jitsu class as well. If it wasn't, you know what? I swear, if it wasn't for you, a lot of things wouldn't have happened. So I was doing jiu-jitsu for 2-3 years, and then you took me to that body pump class, and it was. I think you are the catalyst of everything.
Oh, that's really good to know, man. But thanks for saying that for our viewers. Look, I can see, we'll put a clip up as well of your beautiful gym. Really, I love the layout, the color scheme, and everything. And you're in the heart of one of my favorite cities in Greece, actually. So Thessaloniki. I hope I pronounced it right.
That's right. Yeah.
So what did you have to learn? So think of the viewers, think of someone who might be in the same position as you and is thinking about starting up their own gym or health, fitness kind of business. What did you have to go out and learn to be able to set that up, whether it's the fitness thing, but more along the business side of things?
Yeah. You know what, when you become a fitness trainer, you have to work somewhere in order to get experience. So I was working at a lot of gyms for a long time, both in the UK, in Leeds, and here in Thessaloniki, in Greece. The thing is that you work in these gyms and you realize that the core values, the basis of the gyms that you work at, the instructors, the people, things are not coming together as good as you have them in your head. So I struggled for a long time to realize what was happening. And then I thought to myself, well, at that point, I think I can do things a lot better because I read my clients. I know what they want. I read the market. The gyms are not doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to draw my own path and hope for the best. The thing that it was, that it was like, that it takes your dreams to the brink of destruction, is that when you sit down and you put down your core idea, and then you have to answer what makes it different than anything else. Why is your idea is going to help people better? How are you going to market the idea? why people would come to you and not go to any of the other gyms. Well, why are your services different? How are you gonna do different? What are you gonna? How are you gonna change the game in a market where so many people are putting in novelty equipment, or that's how they call them. It's overcrowded with dieting ideas, and a lot of times they forget the science and they forget the purpose as well. And most of the time they forget the client, they forget the person who has a need. And then that whole thing becomes more around the instructor. So he becomes the model, the statue. Everybody needs to look at him rather than what's going on with your client, what are his or her needs, what you need to do different, how you're going to put the service and the knowledge you have into the exercise regime so that you can make him or her fall in love with the gym and come back.
Mm. When did you launch, Nick? How long has it been since you actually opened?
We've opened on September 2018. So this is our third year running. So we're pretty fresh on the business side.
And what a time. I mean, who would have known a year into your, new gym, COVID hits, COVID-19. So how has it affected you?
COVID has definitely affected us, apart from the psychological part, where things are, in your head. A lot of things are messed up, and they come to the surface when you are on a lockdown. As a gym owner and as a gym goer as well, it has affected us financially, and it has affected us on the our clients. Our clients now fear the gyms because there is a marketing going on the media, and because the gyms, they don't bring a lot of money to the government. They don't like to make the gyms to be a safe place, or to pass the knowledge that exercising is a way to stay healthy and to fight either it's COVID-19 or any other disease. The only good thing that I can see that COVID-19 has done or will do in the long run is that it will create a trend. Unfortunately, in Greece at least, going to the gym is a trend for a lot of people. So right now, people are afraid to go into the overpacked gyms, into the overpacked classes and group exercises, where there is no attention, no one is paying attention to them, because they're afraid it's dirty, they might get the virus. And therefore, they're going into the smaller boutique gyms. Now, going into the smaller boutique gym, they feel safe. Obviously, there are lesser people there. But in the long run, they will realize how these boutique gyms work, what the attention is giving them, the efficiency of the program. And then in the long run, becoming a trend, they will realize that now the small group training and the boutique personal training studios or personal training gyms, they are the future.
Yeah. And you touched on a few points there, so I'll just give a bit of feedback if that's okay. But then I want to hear more about this boutique side of things. So, you're absolutely right. Gyms and just generally all kinds of physical activity are a kind of a tool to both get well and stay strong, but also to have better health outcomes if you do catch something like COVID-19.
Yeah.
And we know over the past year, and you mentioned mental health and stress, and over the past year, mental health has gone up, obesity has gone up, and just from a public health stance, I can say that it's really the focus is it's a new virus. Not people don't know enough about it, so everyone's learning at the same time as everyone else, and the focus is how can we make people stay healthy. But then as we learn more about the virus, how can we reopen facilities like gyms, which make life a lot better for everyone else, but do it safely? And perhaps boutiques are the way to go. So boutiques as in smaller gyms, which I'd like you to tell me a bit more about now, that allow people to, get on with their activity, but they are limited in their space and they have a bit more physical distancing between each other. You can do a bit more cleaning between each client. And it's, you know, I want to get down to your name as well. You know, it's personal experience is the name of your gym, if I got that
That's
right.
right.
So
That's right.
do you want to tell us a bit more about the benefits of a boutique beyond COVID, a boutique versus a large gym?
Well, you know, in one word, it's the attention.
Yeah.
The attention you get from your instructor, the attention you get onto from a well structured program, a clean site of targets for the client, and actually putting all these together. There are I've worked on big gyms. I've worked on smaller gyms before opening my own business, and not all small gyms are the same. Not all boutique gyms are the same. Not all boutiques are good just because they have the name boutique, because it's down to the people who work in there as well. And at the same time, not all big gyms are not doing well on their customers. In general, though, the majority of the big gyms, when you go in and you have a lot of people on the instruments, or a lot of people on a group exercise class, the attention is not the attention that your client needs. So in that manner of saying that a big group is not as good as a smaller group, it comes down to the efficiency and the attention that a person can get, either from a personal training, a one-to-one session, or a small group training.
Right. So
I think that's that's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. And so, you know, many entrepreneurs, I mean, everyone thinks of an entrepreneur as someone who's in, you know, really young and fit and healthy and has this like play hard, work hard attitude, or work hard, play hard. But actually, you know, entrepreneurs come from all ages, shapes and sizes. And they're busy. They're busy people. Many of them think they know what they should be doing when it comes to their own health and well-being. But you've really got to ask, what is the source of their information and where are they going to learn more about it? One of the questions, I mean, in the world of health, as a medic, we've got guidelines saying, you know, do at least X amount of hours of physical activity, moderate or strenuous or whatever, every week to stay healthy and prevent disease. But for me, the question that I have is more about fitness and rather than general health and well-being. So forget the fact that, you know, there's a question that I could have asked you is like, how long, like over how many months should you be training to get really fit? My question is more about each individual session. What's the bare minimum amount of time that you need to spend in the gym to really get fitness results?
Okay, there's no easy answer for this. However, I'm going to tell you the time, and then I'm just going to give you the guidelines so that not all people think that it's for everyone. So the bare minimum that you could do is 30 minutes that you can do a high intensity interval training. And then if you're in a rush, I think at least trying to do an hour's training. Now, for the 30 minutes or a high interval intensity training regime, you need someone who has a relative good understanding of the movements, not necessarily of the level. There are no exercises that are good for people who are fitter, and exercises that are good for people who are not fit. There are some specific exercises or general exercises that they are amazing for everyone, and I think we're going to be discussing that a little bit later on. So if someone can perform an exercise in a good technique so that it won't hurt him or her, that means that they can juice out as much as they can from a HIIT program, in short, for high intensity interval training program. And regardless the level they are, that 30-minute program will push them high on their cardiovascular and muscular intensity. So I think 30 minutes would be a bare minimum if you know how to perform exercises safely. Up to an hour, if we're talking about an absolute limit. I mean, if you're putting a gun to my head, I would say either 30 minutes or an hour. If you're not putting a gun to my head, we're talking about an hour and 30 minutes on a structured program. Okay.
90 minutes, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your two favorite kinds of activities that you do with your clients?
Well, in personal experience, we try to give them the choice of either getting into a group exercise class that we do Les Mills here, or go into the small group training programs that we do CrossFit. These are the two things that we work with our clients.
Okay, so if I was going to decide like which one I should go to, what's the benefits of each one? What's the differences as well?
I'll tell you. At the beginning, I would like to put you into the CrossFit program, because the environment is more controlled. You don't have the music to be pressuring you. You don't have a certain choreography and a certain amount of reps that you have to do on the beat for a certain amount of time. The environment is more controlled. Obviously, you have things to do in the CrossFit program, and you have reps and you have sets and you have time limits. But for someone who begins or who hasn't touched his fitness for a long time, a more controlled environment like that would be ideal. Then, judging by how you're doing and how you perform moves, then I would put you. I would try and put you into some of our programs that we do Les Mills. The difference between the two is big. But I think both work really well. On one hand, the CrossFit, it gives you a big range of things to do based on your fitness level, and it touches a lot of your skills. So that will help your fitness change fast. In the group exercise part that you will be doing based on what you like and based on what moves you do better, over there you have a few more people in. So 4 people in the CrossFit box that we do, 12 people into the small group exercise studio. So with the 12 people, there are just a little bit more people in there. You feel more like a team. The music helps you forget your pain. There is an instructor there that he's performing the exercises with you at the same time. So he's your mirror. He's someone to look up to. And also there's someone there that he's going through at the same time with you what you're going through. So he understands you. So he can push you to do things that you wouldn't usually do if you were by yourself. So these two worlds, if you put them together, I think it creates a really good mixture of things, and the client doesn't get bored.
I think the first time I heard of CrossFit was about 7 or 8 years ago when I was still in the States, and someone was raving on all about it. But it was new to me then. And again, we recently talked about CrossFit, and you told me about, if it depends on what your outcomes are, but when it comes to, cognitive performance and how well your brain performs, which is something that most entrepreneurs are looking for, Both of them are great. From my understanding, you know, any kind of group exercises, they help with that social connection. You got the music, but you're also learning new moves every single time. I don't know what kind of track you're on with Body Pump now, but I remember it was like every so often there was a new track and new routine. And then when it comes to CrossFit, I want to ask you a bit more about that now, actually.
Yeah.
So you've previously called it the CrossFit as the Elon Musk of fitness. I mean, why do you say that?
You know what? I think Elon Musk is doing things that they are ahead of its time. People are, you know, like it is with a lot of things. The things that you're afraid, you tend to block them out, to deny them. I think what Elon Musk is doing is ahead of its time. And even though CrossFit, if I'm not wrong, it was originally started in 1996, but then it was formed as a company in the early 2000. Only now, at least in Greece, people have realized the benefit of CrossFit long after its beginning, because there was so much stuff into the fitness industry. They bombard you with you know, equipment that you have to buy, the instructors, new moves, and because they try to do novel things all the time, they lose sight of the science and that something that it's good in its core, you don't have to change it. What you have to change is the coaching of that, but not that on itself. So I think people are realizing now what is doing for them, because it changes your physique, the way you think about what fitness is, and you know, like you said, with your mental health and how you take things out. I think when you push yourself to the limit, then obviously you have things inside of you that you want to take out. You just take that out on the gym, and with that kind of program helps you take them out better and faster.
So before we go into what CrossFit's all about and like what it actually looks and feels like, are there any benefits to CrossFit for entrepreneurs beyond fitness and mental health?
Yeah, I think the structure, the structure of it, that you don't need to rush into things, that it's okay to stumble, or it's okay to put your ego on the side and just do one thing at a time, go step by step, and that will, in the long run, give you the results you want. And once you get the results, then the feeling is amazing. For me personally, the way CrossFit evolved in me, which in the beginning was denial, then it was skepticism, then it was research, then I tried it, I felt it, I cried a bit. I can't remember if I puked also, but I definitely cried. I couldn't walk for about a week, and then I realized that. I then realized what it is. Then I thought, well, you know, I need to teach that to people. So for someone who is opening up his business, so who's on the run, and he's working out 24/7. I think there are a lot of things that you can take from the CrossFit regime back into your business and the way you deal with things. And I think the most important thing is structure and patience.
Nice, yeah. It's a long game for sure. So, all right. So, can you like tell me first of all, what are the skills that you mentioned earlier? What kind of skills are you teaching people in CrossFit?
Well, we're talking about the cardiovascular part of the human body. We're talking about strength, speed, power, agility, balance, coordination, endurance, 10 skills that the body is able to perform, but one way or another it forgot, or they were never taught. So a body that can perform 10 skills rather than one is a more fitter and happier body, along with the brain and along with mental health. It makes a person stronger, and it makes him strong for life.
And I've heard the term virtuosity. What's that all about?
Virtuosity is doing something uncommonly well, based on the words of the CrossFit community. So, if you think someone who's doing CrossFit, that he can run fast for a long period of time, while he can push or pull heavy items, jump over them, having the ability to quickly change between these exercises, while having his coordination and balance in hand. Not at 100%, but at a level of a good level, so that he can feel the effect of these movements. That is virtuosity. So you're not 100% for every skill, but you are covering a lot of skills at the bare minimum and above. That is virtuosity, and I think that's what also fitness is, and has always been.
And I would say actually that's really good to learn. So as a founder or a startup kind of entrepreneur, if you're heading up a new business, you might be the expert in one topic or the problem that you're trying to solve, but you really need this skill set, I think, to be able to be like, take a bird's eye view of everything and be the generalist and know who to bring in. And I often say, if you're trying to solve a problem, figure out who can help you, not how you can do it yourself. Okay, so can you walk me through like a typical 60 or even a 90-minute CrossFit session?
Yeah, so like I said before, there is a structure. So the chapters of a program like that, we start with static stretching, go into a bit of a warm up, going into dynamic stretching, and preparing the body with movements that you will find later on into the program. Then usually there might be a skill involved, where it's either going to be based on powerlifting, or maybe based on gymnastics. And then at the end, there's going to be a small section that you're going to feel it big, that it's going to be based on the things that you've been preparing for. It might be a combination of powerlifting and gymnastics. It might be just doing exercises for a body weight, or maybe just focusing on powerlifting itself. Do you want me to get into more on that?
No, that's fine. I think what we'll do
is give you more detail.
What we might, it's up to you. I mean, this is, I'm all ears. I'd love to learn more about it. But I think one thing we could do is perhaps, I hope this is the first of many conversations we have, and maybe we can dig deeper. Maybe you can walk us through the moves with one of your clients at one point as well. That would be really
cool. Sure. That'd be great. Yeah.
Well, just listening to you and seeing where you're sitting right now, it reminds me of, I think it was 2004 or 5, I can't remember exactly. You were still in Leeds and I was based in Cyprus, and I was contemplating what I could do in this kind of world of preventive medicine. And I went into a gym in central London near Leicester Square, Piccadilly Circus, and it was called The Third Space. Super cool, honestly. It was like this 3 or 4 floors right in the heart of London. It had a supermarket with all sorts of organic and health promoting foods in the on the ground floor, it had a cafe. And then it had 3 levels or so of gyms and various kinds of, it was huge, but it felt like a boutique, if you like. And then on the top floor, it had a clinic with a GP, a family doctor, and then all sorts of other practitioners there. And I always had it in my mind that, okay, one day I'd love to be working in this kind of place. But eventually I evolved into what I'm doing now. And, I work with people who do deliver those kinds of services. So that's really cool. But anyway, so back to you. I keep talking about myself. So what kind of equipment would you need to actually run a CrossFit session? And I've heard you talk about a box, for example. I think you're sitting in a box right now. Can you tell me what that's all about?
Well, usually the CrossFit industry calls their CrossFit gyms box, because unlike any other gyms, you're not going to be seeing any instruments in there. It's going to be it's usually a big area where you have weights stacked, or you have just the bare minimum of equipment, and because you can see all the walls. I think that's why they call them box, because you see clearly from one side of that vast area to the other. Obviously, you don't need a huge place to run CrossFit. I mean, our CrossFit box is small. You want me to turn the camera, and you can.
If it doesn't disconnect, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, it won't. Let me just turn the camera around so that you can see it. Okay, so you got your equipment here that you want to be doing an air bike and a rowing machine. Usually you will be warming up on them, or you're going to be using them heavily. Our blackboard there, it's where we put our programs. You definitely need a rack there where you can do your pull-ups, and you can do squats, and if you want to be doing strength. You have your barbell equipment and your weights, and a selection of dumbbells and kettlebells and some soft balls in order to do the exercise. So obviously you need the boxes that they are set up here so that the camera can sit nicely.
Nice.
And not because I'm tall, but because I need to put the camera somewhere. So let me just turn the camera around. So I think the general idea of running let me just put that there, right. The general idea of running a CrossFit box is trying to cover the bare minimum. I mean, we don't have a lot of things in our box. There are quite a few more toys that you can have in a box, but these are the things that I showed you. You can do an amazing array of exercises and use time with repetitions to blast for a 30-minute or a 60-minute or a 90-minute program. And your client or the athlete, he will be either gasping for air, or he will be amazed of the things that he was able to do in the short period of time. And not in the beginning, but afterwards he will love you. During the period that he will be doing CrossFit, he won't be loving you. He probably won't be loving himself, but he will love you at the end.
Nice. Tough love, man. So I hear there's some like big names in the world of CrossFit. I've heard of Matt Fraser and Tia-Clair. Like, first of all, who are they? But also, like, what can we learn from people like them?
Well, I'll tell you. Matt Fraser is, if I'm not mistaken, his nationality, he's American. Tia-Clair is Australian. Matt Fraser has been winning the CrossFit Games for 5 years in a row, being the fittest man on earth. And Tia-Clair has been doing the same for 4 years in a row. Before Matt Fraser and Tia-Clair, Rich Froning, he's also an amazing specimen of a human being. He won 3 of the CrossFit Games, And then because he got bored doing that himself, he made a team, and he won another 3 back-to-back CrossFit games as the fittest team. So he has won. He's also amazing. So these people are, I think, the prime definitions of what fitness is. A lot may agree, may disagree that they are the fittest, and there's going to be a line of people commenting and having a never-ending conversation about who is better and who is the best, and so on. So, but for these 2 individuals that you mentioned, and also the third one that I mentioned, I think it's an amazement. It amazes me of what an athlete can do. I mean, these people are working out. Maybe they're doing 2 or 3 workouts a day. They do that all year round, and the slight difference between the fitter and the fittest man on earth, or the fitter and the fittest woman on earth, would be they got cold for a day and they missed 3 days of exercise, and then they had to begin with fewer reps and fewer weights on their regime. I think that the line up there is thin.
Yeah.
But what they have to show is that what the human body is capable of doing. These people can do that 7 days a week. They don't get hurt. They diet and they exercise. They don't get burned. They endure their exercises, and they're not doing that just for a year. That guy is doing that now 5 years in a row, without touching the subject, even though you get a lot of medical boosts, if you like, or whatever they're getting in the
you mean
US.
Like performance enhancing kind of supplements or drugs or whatever?
That's right.
Okay.
Even if you take them, you need to be able to perform the exercise.
Yeah.
You need to be able to have the technique. You need to be able to. So obviously it helps them, but the amount of hours they put into perfecting every skill on their body to be able to do that day in and day out, it's amazing. It's amazing, and it amazes me, and it shows what we are capable of doing.
Absolutely. And you earlier you mentioned what it could, what CrossFit could teach entrepreneurs beyond fitness, and it's patience and consistency. So you just touched on those again now. So I've got first of all, let me come back to you before I ask you this question. So no, actually I remembered, I wanted to say this. So you touched on, the difference between the champion, the fittest man or woman in the world, if you like, and the next level, and it's very thin. And about 6 or 7 weeks ago, I heard about this as well. So essentially it's, if you think of someone who is a plastic surgeon, a cosmetic surgeon, and he talks about how the difference between changing some feature of the nose, or the difference between a really good looking man or beautiful woman, is just a 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter difference in the shape of the nose, the symmetry or whatever. And same thing comes with playing golf. And if you want to get a hole in one, it's just that 1 or 2 millimeter difference. And that spans across so many things. And you just gave another perfect example there. So that's really good. Okay, now I want to come back to you. First of all, forget your business, just you yourself. Everyone thinks, okay, he's a personal trainer, he's doing a lot of exercise, but I think you might be at risk of overtraining actually. And on top of that, you've got your business to run, you've got probably staff to manage, you've got a child, and you've got a happy family to look after as well, all in addition to COVID. So how do you look after yourself?
It's a tricky question. I struggle with that. I try to exercise. I try to exercise every day, apart from Sundays. Sundays it's my cheat day, and I like to eat a lot, and not the good kind of food. I
And I
like
know how
to.
much you can eat. Yeah, carry on.
That's right. Wish all that would give me a little bit of a hype, but it hasn't so far. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But I try to exercise every day. I try to look out for what my body's telling me, so that I don't push it over the limits. Always push it to the limits. Other days are not good. Sometimes I go into the gym to do 90-minute training, and I end up leaving in 15 minutes because my mental health is not my state. My mental state is not at the place where I should be training. So I try to listen to my body. Sometimes I try not to, especially when I'm doing CrossFit, or I have to do 10 more reps. So it's a balance. So on the gym side of you, it's try to endure, try to have a structure, and try to be consistent. That will take the pressure off. So when you go back home and you have your family to take care of, then over there you're stronger. You have a lot more patience. You have endurance. Yes, you're tired, but it's about seeing things in a different perspective. So I always try to look things for what they are, but it's just me based on my years of training and what I've done so far, that I can see something and translate it to being something that it is. But most of the time that's not right. So I try to take a step back and trying to look at it from a different perspective, from the perspective of the other person, of my wife, for example, or my daughter. So I try to keep a balance between looking things with an array of angles, trying to have consistency in what I'm doing, so that I can endure.
All right, I'm almost there. So I just want to now ask you about your vision for personal experience in your business. So if you had literally no limits, financial, geographic, nothing whatsoever, what would you like personal experience to look like in the next 5 years?
I'll tell you. I want to put in a few more services for our clients. What comes after the exercise? So I'm thinking of a cryogenic sauna, so that it can fix up their muscles. But apart from that, I think what is important is to try and teach people to work in the way that I work, so that they follow the vision of personal experience. So what I'm doing as of now is I'm trying to find my replacements, because unfortunately I will not be able to do that forever, and I need someone to carry on what I'm doing. So the teaching and educational parts of personal experience, the way we work, our coaching ethics and strategy, and the way we try to transfer our knowledge to our clients and to our athletes. I think that's something that we persevere into making it better, and myself into trying to pass it on into other teachers so that they can continue my work. So if you're asking me what I would like to do in 5 years' time, I would probably like to to open up one more personal experience at the center of Thessaloniki, so that people won't have the driving distance as a excuse not to come to the gym, and have the people that work in the gym to follow my dream of what coaching fitness should be like.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And so it's like, you know, increasing access to those who are living in the heart of town. But listen, if I was going to suddenly inject a ton of, this was a question that someone asked me when I was defending my PhD. And I remember going to one of your defenses as well. And they asked me, like, if we were going to give you X amount of money, I don't know, $10 million or something, what would you do with it?
Right.
I know what I said. I said, I'll retire. And I made it through and I actually graduated.
I'll go to Maui and build a small shack and just stay there and windsurf all the time. No, I think, but that would be a good idea. But apart from that, injecting money into the business, I think the people need to know, and in order for people to know the work that we do here, you know, you need money in order to reach them. So advertising is a big factor on that. So a lot of money would go into there, because even if I put 10 million pounds into the into personal experience, and people didn't know what I was doing in there, I may as well just go into Maui and windsurf, you know. So the thing is that you need to bring people in. You might have the best coaches, the best instructors, the best fitness program, the best equipment, the best of everything. But if people don't know it, they are just the best for you, and they are the best to you. So you can use them and you can enjoy them, but you need to bring people in. So I think information and education would be a major role into what an investment would do. Not on that size, obviously, because you don't need that kind of money to do that. Because we're talking about fitness. We're not talking about changing the world. But I think that is an important step for people. They need to wake up from what my predecessors in the fitness industry have done over the years, which was to fool them into taking equipment that they don't need, do things that they don't have to, and put themselves through regimes that they don't work for them, but they work for their viewers on their social media.
Yeah, marketing is a big deal. And I think you know that I've been doing a lot of learning about marketing lately, and it's relevant. It's not just relevant if you're starting up a business, it's also relevant in whatever you do. So in my world, so, you know, my day job, if you like, as a public health doctor, we have to convince a lot of people to do things that may not necessarily be obvious to them or comfortable for them to do. And to basically have influence without any power. And so a lot of that relies on, it's not called marketing, but essentially it is. And I would say like 2 or 3 things that are top of my list that I've learned over the last year when it comes to marketing is, obviously one is just create an advert and put it out there, but that's not the most effective. It's number one, do something legit that actually adds value. Secondly, be an effective communicator, a good storyteller, create a movement, a tribe, if you like, so that your customers, kind of like word of mouth, can actually go and spread the word. And if you've got a great service or a product, your customers will do that. But the last like secret sauce on top of that is help your customers to be able to convey that message, make that word of mouth spread a lot easier, more beneficial to them. And if anyone that's watching this or listening to this is interested, there's a lot of marketing gurus out there, but one that I really like and I respect a lot is someone called Seth Godin. So go and check that out for sure. Okay, so if anyone wants to learn more about you, Nick, how can they get in touch or find out more?
Well, they can get in touch if they get into our webpage, which is personalexperience.gr. Our social media are in there. Our email is in there. So they can get in touch, and we can see how we can help them.
Excellent. Look, thank you so much. Is there any final word that you want to add?
Final word? No, I think we pretty much covered everything. I think it was like I said, it was a pleasure having this done with you. I'm deeply honored, and also it's an amazing thing that we've actually started this collaboration, if you like. As a final thing, I just hope that we do this a lot more often, and hopefully, even if one person has a change of heart of what they were doing before and they want to change it, that would be a plus, and that would be the start of a greater change.
I agree with you entirely. Absolutely. So thanks so much, Nick. It's been a pleasure for me too, and first of many. That's all I can say.